Well, fellers, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and it appears we have another 45 frames a second at 720p game on the PlayStation 5. Wait a minute. I thought this thing was supposed to be a 4K 60 beast. But don't get your panties in the twist bots, because I'm pretty sure it's the same on the Xbox. I'm pretty close. I've been playing it myself. So, I just got done watching Digital Foundry's PlayStation 5 only video for Jedi Survivor, and we're talking 15 frames a second it can drop to. Let that sink in. 15 frames a second in the 30 FPS mode. I was like, are you kidding me, man? This thing can't even do 4K 30. No, so basically it's 1440p checkerbird or FSR2. And for all the console guys out there that were like, yeah, man, bring FSR2. FSR2 is trash. It looks worse than freaking checkerbirds. I'm not even joking, man. I turn it on the PC and yeah, I hate it. I don't want nothing to do with it. I would much rather a native image any day of the week. It's just terrible. So let's take this as it is, because I honestly, for the sake of you being able to still play games this generation, quit watching Digital Foundry. Quit watching Digital Foundry immediately, or you're going to hate gaming. If you bought a 4K screen for your next-gen consoles, trade it in and get a monitor, or watch TV on it and go get yourself a monitor so you can play and enjoy these video games. It's going to be like this going forward, guys. It's going to be like this going forward. These games are back to these consoles are back to 30 frames per second. It's sad when the Xbox Series S version of the game is more consistent than either of the other two. It's pretty sad. Like it is pretty sad. I just got done. I beat Jedi Fallen Order now. So I've beaten Jedi Fallen Order. I beat it on the PC. Outside of Koba, that area, everything runs fine. Like, it feels good. Every now and then you'll get a micro stutter or something like that. Okay, oh well. I mean, it wasn't that bad. Like, it was a really enjoyable freaking experience and a really enjoyable game. But when you play it on the consoles, I mean, on the console version, as long as you're playing on the 30 frames per second area, anywhere else, and even select places, you'd probably be able to play the 60 frames per second. I got an Xbox Series X video going up here in a little while, but I was playing around with that, and like, for the most part, like, any of the areas outside of the little freaking hub area that struggles on the PC as well. Everything else in there feels pretty decent. Like, it feels pretty good. You got like the first area or whatever, like Coruscant, when you're running through there, that can really, kind of make the frame rate struggle a little bit. But for the most part, man, as long as there's not a lot of water, because this game has ray tracing no matter what. Like, in performance mode, it has ray tracing, in quality mode, it has ray tracing. So that's why you're going to get your substandard resolution. If we're going to stand up as a community and tell the developers anything, just tell them we don't want your useless ray tracing on our consoles. Like, it does not. I would much rather have a better quality image than 720p, man, with FSR, because FSR sucks. Like, it's terrible. It's garbage. I do not like the way it makes the games look. It looks blurry and smudgy and fuzzy, and I don't like it. I think it's ugly. To be completely honest with you, I think it's ugly. It does not do any good. Especially on a 4K screen. When I put it on my monitor, you can get by because it doesn't look as blurry, but oh my gosh, my goodness, man. All the way down to 15 frames a second is what the undisputed champion is doing right now, because until they put out an Xbox video that shows the same 15 frames a second, PS5 is now the 15 framer. I can't believe it, man. This new console hardware is already getting to be, oh my gosh, dude, that's like Assassin's Creed 1. That's like Assassin's Creed 1 frame rate, bro. 15 frames a second on your PlayStation 5. That is pretty, like, I'm not even just trying to be negative right now. Like, that's ridiculous, man. Like, we're literally getting back to like 360 and PlayStation 3 generation freaking 30 frames per second modes that didn't even hit 30 frames per second. That's the one thing that we should be able to demand on these consoles. Not 60 frames per second. No. 30. Locked 30 frames per second. That's what we should be shooting for. A locked 30 frames per second. Seriously. Seriously. This is funny, man. Like, after watching that video, I was like, wow, you got to be joking me. But don't worry, man. Oliver Mack, he's going to be right behind it with the comparison video for all of them, man. And I'm like, whatever, who cares? Quit watching Digital Foundry. Quit watching them so that you can still enjoy your video games. Because I'll tell you what, if you don't got a frame counter on there and you have VRR, man, you can't even notice. When I was finishing playing the Jedi Survivor without no frame counter on there and just enjoying the game and being 100% immersed in it, didn't even matter. Didn't even see the frame rate drops, VRR, G-Sync. What, dude? What? You don't see it? Oh man. Why do you think those technologies even exist? It's so that it can so that it can help you have a smoother experience. That's so bad. Like, don't get me wrong, man. Like, the PC version's not perfect by any means. It definitely has its stuttering effects that that good old Digital Foundry Alex Battaglia is going on and on and on about. And I get it, man. If you're a hardcore PC gamer and you spent $4,000 on your rig, yeah, man, I just wanted to not have any stutters. Dude, you're literally buying freaking graphics card with fake frame rate. Don't give me that. Yeah, dude, whatever. If you're dumb enough to spend $2,000 on a graphics card that just gives you fake frame rate, can you really complain? This game doesn't even have DLSS in it. No, man, you're stuck with native or the other one. And I'll tell you what, man, on my 3080, playing it at native resolution at epic settings, it was a good experience. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I was able to turn off my frame rate counter and I was able to go. And every once in a while, I'll be running down a hallway and I'll make a turn and oh my gosh, it stuttered. But oh look, it's back to good. That's what I'm talking about. You guys make such a big... Okay, I did too. Callisto Protocol. Man, that game was a stutter fest. Every time I'd turn around or something, stutter. It was getting annoying. The Last of Us remake, that game was garbage when it came out. I couldn't even boot it up. I would go to log in and boom, it would crash on me. I'd get in there and start playing and it was literally all over the place and you could mostly feel it. But I mean, aside from like the crashing and stuff, it was decent, but I can't even max out I couldn't even get epic settings on there. And it doesn't even have ray tracing because the VRAM allocation's still broken. So don't give me any of that stuff. Then you had Wild Hearts. Wild Hearts is still broken for the most part. All these games using this FSR2 garbage that doesn't even work that way. I mean, it's just ugly. What else do we have? Gotham Knights. That one was struggling at launch. We had Hogwarts Legacy. That one was struggling. All of those games ran worse on my 3080 than this game does. That's why I'm not freaking out on it for all my PC guys. That's why I'm not freaking out on this game because I would freak out on this. Not only that, I only paid $15 for this one. I literally downloaded this on EA Play Pro for $15. All them other games that I mentioned ran way worse on this exact same PC, this exact same build than this one does right now. So when Digital Foundry's out there telling everybody that this is the worst optimized, no, dude. That's not true. That's not true at all. In my case, on my 3080, all of those other games ran significantly worse than this one does. This one runs a lot better. It feels a lot better. It was an enjoyable experience all the way through. Even Forspoken. Yeah, I mean, like, this one and Forspoken actually seemed to be okay playing them on my 3080. Like, I was able to max out Forspoken and run around on that in like, anywhere from like 60 to up to 90 frames per second. And then every once in a while, yeah, I'd get them dips down all the way down to 30 frames per second on that. I would, there was one part that I got into that it dropped all the way down to 30 frames per second, but it goes away. And then it goes right back up to being pretty good. There's so many variables in the PC market space that like getting this game optimized to run optimally on every single one of them, man. Okay, developers, you better make sure it runs good for every single one of them. That's why, seriously, man, I love EA Play Pro because I could pay $100 a year and I could play all of their games. Day one, with all of the DLC and everything else, for $100 a month. And one AAA banger is $70. So I like that kind of thing on PC. I love that. I love that that you can get access to these games a lot cheaper on PC than you can on the console. The console's kind of a trap. It is kind of a trap, man. $70 for that banger, man. And then you're stuck at 30 frames per second because I mean, you could play it at the other one. You could play it in the performance mode, but you're gonna definitely want a monitor for that. You're not gonna want a TV. You're not gonna want a TV. It just does not hold up that well visual wise. It doesn't. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. And not even setting your console to 1080p is gonna upscale that because it's using that ugly FSR that just that ruins games. They should give you an option to turn that on or off. Seriously, they should give you an option to turn that on or off and just have native resolution on these games. Because native 720p on a 1440p monitor looks better than it still looks pretty good. So I don't know, man. My recommendation, guys, this generation, quit watching Digital Foundry. Quit watching NX Gamer. Quit watching these guys that are out there doing these easy clickbait freaking videos that are just getting you to question gaming and not enjoy it no more. You don't even enjoy gaming anymore. You're getting to the point where you're just there's just always something to be negative about. Never in all of our lives playing games, we've never had video games come out perfect. We never have. Like seriously, man. Like when was the last time you got the perfect absolutely perfect video game besides Dead Island 2? I mean, Dead Island 2 was, I mean, for the most part, pretty dang good. Like, it's pretty dang good. It's rock solid. It runs and it does a good job. It's got a great, yeah. Tell me how often it is that we get an actual perfect game. No, man. I loved Jedi Survivor. I thought it was great. It was definitely better than the first game by far. The traversal, the combat, the story. Wow. Wait until you finish that. It was pretty dang good, man. I was like, wow, that's pretty clever. That's pretty clever to go ahead and create a story, like a side Star Wars story that could potentially be within the realm of like other Star Wars games, and then it still have like a full story arc that I mean, yeah, 100% could be canon. You know what I mean? Like it could be canon, and you could potentially see these characters in an actual freaking Star Wars movie or Star Wars spinoff or something like that. Well, maybe not a newer one because that timeline would be a little bit far, but at least in terms of like you could definitely see this as being some side of a side canon story. So all right, well, I'm gonna drop this video for you right now, but then I'm gonna work on a full review for Jedi Survivor. So if you guys like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.